Rich Pictures, Part 2. There's several aspects of the environment or the mechanics that I probably should address, even though they're more general mechanics relating to the creation and development of all kinds of models as opposed to rich pictures, though. Um, I'll cover it several times because it's really important. When you create a new insight or create a new model, you end up with a canvas that looks like this, and the Save Insights button is very dark. And there is no insight number here because you have not yet saved it. And you can manipulate this to no end, and you can run the simulation. It's just a rabbit population growth model. Though once you actually tell it to save it and you give it a title and some tags and a description, when you save it, this will then go dim. And you can, every time you make a change, Insight Maker will automatically save the changes for you. Though the difficulty is you don't yet know what the insight number is. Let me go ahead and do this one, and I'll get rid of it later. I'll just call it test stuff. All right. And I'll save it. So now you can see that this went dimmed. If I just created this now move this and see it gets darker and then it lightens up again because it saved the change. If I wanted to save this or send this to somebody, I don't know what the insight number is, so I can't send it to them. The way to do that quickly is to click on the embed feature, and this is if you wanted to embed this model in a wiki page or a blog or some web page or something. Here's the insight number right here, 15417. So you can copy that and paste this in here and hit enter. It'll do a refresh. You can then send this URL to someone, and that is the model that you just created. Now I got to remember to get rid of this when I get done here. A couple other things. When you create entities, it's really good to put comments or notes on the elements of your model. It's surprising what one doesn't remember next week or next month or next year about the thoughts one had when they were developing the model itself. To do that, there's a note field over here where you can put notes, or you can click on the down arrow and this note editor window will open. You can also click an element and press Control period, and this window will open and you can edit. And there are some editing features in terms of how to lay out the text that's on this note. And when people then mouse over it, this little eye pops up, and if they click it, the note pops up, and they can toggle it back and forth or click this to close it. Another aspect of the environment which is really useful is if you select a group of items and then click on the folder, it will put all of those items in a folder, and when you move the folder around, all of the items move together, and you can close the folder. You can make this part bigger. You can also overlay an image on the folder itself if you want to. Though if you put things in a folder, the thing that you then have to remember, if you want to take items, if you delete the folder, you will delete all the items in the folder. So if you really don't want the folder, you then have to go ahead and figure out how to select all the items in the folder without selecting the folder so that you can drag them out of the folder. And then you can delete the folder. And the way that you know that there are no items left in the folder is you can't close it anymore. There's no little button up here on the left to allow you to close it. So you know that everything that was in the folder is now gone. In addition to creating a folder around things, you can drag items into a folder. Well, I don't think I can drag them into this folder because I already took all the items out of it. So if I start with this and I put this in a folder and I make the folder bigger, I can drag the rest of the, notice how the folder highlights in a blue, so I know that the items, but now I've messed up all of my links. And that there's a couple ways to clean up links. One is if you select it
and move it and then take it back to where it was, it goes back to a straight line, so that you can then go ahead and reshape it if that's what you want to do. Or you can simply click on it and reshape the nodes. And I said that if you hold down the shift key after you select a link, hold down the shift key and click on it, it'll add nodes to it. If you hold down the shift key and click on an existing one, it will get rid of them, though presently it deselects the line, and we've asked them to modify it so that it quits doing that, because it really shouldn't. It doesn't seem as though it ought to deselect the line when you take a node off of it. But you know, some programmers have different ideas about how things ought to be developed. So that's, oh, and you can also add notes to a folder, either up here or by selecting a folder and doing a control period to open it. I mean, it's really disconcerting if you get a model from somebody else and it's just a wiring diagram and they expect you to sort of clairvoyantly understand all of the thoughts that they had when they built the model. The 2 or 3 word labels on all of the elements of the model are usually not sufficient to understand it. So in terms of the extent of the different kinds of models, or some of the things that you can create, here's some examples. Here's one. Let me get this out of storytelling mode. This is a relationship model of all of the known systems archetypes. Here's one on healthcare that Jeff McDonald and Sydney did. And here I go ahead and tell it to fit to the window, so it's smaller. But these are folders in folders, and all of these are images, so that these close. Well, they close if I get hold of them in the right place. And these, and even the folders have images on them. There's here's one which I just found yesterday, and it's kind of difficult to understand because it's done in some language that I'm definitely not familiar with. Though if I go ahead and refresh this, it says translate. I tell it yes, and it doesn't. Well, it translated most everything, and that's a function that Chrome is doing, not Insight Maker. So now I have a sense of what this relationship model rich picture is about. And here's a community care model, another one that Jeff McDonald did, where again there are folders with images on the folders, and inside he's using variables and relationships between the variables as part of the picture or the relationship model itself. So, and I put links to these in the same element of the map where the video is. So, hope this has been helpful in better understanding some of the many options available in terms of creating rich pictures within Insight Maker. So, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.